I'm the only person that you're going to interview, Republican or Democrat, that said after I went over there initially that strategy was doomed to failure, that we were on the wrong path, and I predicted, and I'll be glad to send you a copy I gave to the Council on Foreign Relations in November of 2003, where I laid out what was wrong and laid out what we needed to do. And I was hammered by Republicans for being disloyal to the President, for being disloyal to our great Secretary of Defense, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I continued to rail against it, and I continued to give speeches about it. And it's one of the more sad episodes for me of my public career because I saw what was happening, and I saw frankly, the hubris of the Secretary of Defense and the people around him that didn't recognize what should have been recognized very early on.
Do you regret endorsing President Bush?
I think he was a far better president than John Kerry or Al Gore. I didn't judge him just on Iraq, and I give him credit for the change in the strategy. If it had been one of the Democrats who are, at least up until recently, were falling all over themselves to set a date for withdrawal, which in my view would be a date for surrender eventually.
So what would you do with Iraq then if you're elected president?
If I'm elected president, I will hopefully be able to have a process that's already succeeding, continue to succeed. Now, one thing that's not static is warfare. You either win wars or you lose wars. November or January of 2009, the situation in Iraq will not be the same as it is today. If we are able to achieve the same success in the next 7 or 8 months that we have in the last 7 months, you will see in Iraq that basically Americans have given most of the responsibilities over to the Iraqi military. They're playing generally support roles, and our casualties are down. And the Maliki government, and this may be the hardest part, is beginning to function with some effectiveness, which they are not now, as we all know, although there is significant political progress at the local level. Now, the same Democrats that are saying now, well, it may be working militarily, but it's not working politically, are the same ones that 7 or 8 months ago declared on the floor of the Senate the war's lost. That's what Harry Reid said, the war's lost. And we're falling all over themselves to see who could withdraw first. I can only describe the consequences of that best by quoting the president of Iran a couple of weeks ago, and he said, the United States will leave Iraq, there will be a void, and we will fill it. I'm giving a major speech in about an hour about the entire region and the implications of failure, but also what has to happen in the region now that we are succeeding militarily.